my channel. Today I have a new review for you, and the book I want to review for you today is the last book in the Butterfly trilogy by Greta Milan, Bastians Butterfly, and focus around Julie and Bastian, who we met in the first book again, and deals with the situation that occurred at the end of book 2 regarding their daughter and how they deal with that. Before I get into the video, I have to again say a warning that I may be getting myself a bit into a rage. I want to kind of state my opinion as neutral as possible, but it may be that I get a bit angry because I got angry with this book quite a lot. This book obviously also deals with the hereditary skin disease epidermolysis bullosa, short EB, that the first 2 books also focus around. And for those of you who haven't seen my reviews for the first 2 books, they will be linked somewhere here for you to watch. It is a skin disease where your skin is really gentle. You can get hurt really easily. There are different forms and they can vary from not so severe to really severe. Depending on how bad it is, you kind of have a skin as gentle as a butterfly. That's why they also are called butterfly children. And for those who are really unlucky, their skin can get hurt just by a touch or by a scratch. In the not so severe cases, they still get hurt pretty easily and have always kind of wounds everywhere and are always in at least a bit of pain. And it's a really rare skin disease. That's why you probably haven't heard of it, and that's why you often chose to write those books, to raise more awareness of this illness. For me, Bastians Butterfly was a book of extremes. Either I extremely loved it or I extremely hated it. I kind of want to start with the bad parts to get my negative opinion out there. My most complaint about this book is the trope that it focuses around. I will put a kind of spoiler warning here for the part where I talk specifically about this trope, so if you don't want to know the trope, then mute this video until this sign is gone. I personally hate this trope when people don't talk to each other in any kind of relationship, because they don't talk to each other and say what is on their mind and what is on their heart. They get problems because it kind of spirals more and more until you have an elephant of a problem in the room. What was like a teeny tiny fly at the beginning, what wasn't a problem at all, but because you don't talk about it, it becomes a huge massive problem and kind of is a danger to the relationship. And I hate this trope. I can't stand it. If it's not in the center of attention, I want to say, then it's okay, I can live with it. At times it even comes in a disguise and I can live with that as well, but if it's like really obvious, then I kind of have a problem with it. And sadly this was the case, that the whole plot centered around this trope, and oh my god, I got so mad at this book because I think it's also just such a cheap trope that puts drama in where there's no drama needed. I hate it, and because of that I also had huge problems with both of the protagonists, Bastian and Julie. First, I had problems with Bastian because he was kind of behaving like an asshole, and I kind of understand him. It's not that I don't understand both of them in any kind of way, but it was just too extreme in my opinion, and it was in a way that really got on my nerves and that really was not entertaining to read at all, or kind of pulling at my heartstrings. It was just annoying. Like, his jealousy was just not making sense at all, and his all territorial behavior really got on my nerves too. And when I kind of was friends with Bastian again because he changed and he made character development, Julie was getting on my nerves, and I always liked Julie in the first 2 books and in the first part of book 3. And then she got not good. Oh my god. I really hated her, and I was really surprised by how much I hated her, and her behavior, how it completely changed, and how she became kind of annoying to me. And I was pretty close to DNFing this book at that point because I was so mad, and I just had no fun reading it. It got better, that's why I stuck with the book. I want to point out that, but then the epilogue came around. I loved the last 20% of the book. I really loved them. They were like the first two books and what I loved about them again, and it was so good. And then the epilogue came around and oh my god, I think the epilogue is it's a pretty personal thing for me why I didn't like the epilogue in general, but I just didn't want to know that. I wish it wouldn't have been in the book. It would have been in a, I don't know, in a short story for those who want to read it, because I kind of cannot forget it now, and it always will be in my mind when I think about the book. And then my last critique is the subplot with Tim, the other guy, I want to say. I mean, most of the time I didn't care for him, and it was obvious where it would went with him, but it was okay because there wasn't anything. But I didn't like that it was kind of dragged until the very end, and the author couldn't let go of it, and it was like a plot that was also unnecessary for me because it added drama where no drama was needed, in my opinion. Again, to get to my positive points about this book, the last 20%, like, it took a really long time for this trope that I hated to get over with. It took the majority of the book until we get to a part where it's finally solved, and it's finally this beautiful writing and this beautiful storytelling and just this amazing story again, but like just the last 20%. But I really like them. I loved them to bits. They were just amazing. I remember why I loved the first two books so much. What I also liked were the subplots in general, basically everything that did not focus on Julie and Bastian. They were what kept me going when I didn't like the rest of the story, because they also remembered me why I loved the series so much and why I loved the characters so much in times that I didn't, but it was always kind of too quickly gone. I also liked Bastian in the second half of the book. I think he was a pretty decent guy, and I think I never liked him as much as I did in the entire series. To kind of everything, to subplots that hadn't anything to do with Bastian or Julie. Also the chapters that weren't from the perspective of Julie or Bastian were really good and kind of put me back into Elenas Butterfly, and I really liked them and liked seeing those characters again and being with them, and also their further development. And the last point that I really liked was Matilda. Matilda was such a cute baby. She was written so beautifully. Every time the focus was a bit on her, it was just cuteness overload. She was so adorable, and I would have loved to jump into the book and cuddle her myself because she just seemed to be so adorable. All in all, this book was just not really, in German I would say unrund, so not round. It's just the parts didn't go together for me. It wasn't just a story I enjoyed. It wasn't just a really well written, well told story in my opinion. Like I said, I was about to DNF it at some point. In general, I think that the trope that I didn't like could have been way shorter. I would have loved if the focus would have been more on the good 20%. That they wouldn't have been just 20%, but maybe 50%. The epilogue was kind of unnecessary in every way. Like I said, more in a short story. Or if the epilogue had to be in the story, then I would have changed the story in general to stretch it over a longer period of time to kind of get more close to this epilogue and to kind of make more sense of it. It was just, it seemed way too random for me. Or to kind of fit this epilogue, the story should have been told from a complete other point of view. In generally, the story could have been the way it was, and I would have accepted everything in it. Everything that I now criticize, I would have accepted if the focus were on other characters, if the story was told from other characters' points of view. Then, and this whole thing with Bastian and Julie were just a subplot, then I would have loved the story. I'm pretty sure I would have loved the story to pieces, and I would have even loved the epilogue, because I have this tone in my head of the character who tells this epilogue, not Bastian but someone else, and it would have broken my heart. Okay, the epilogue broke my heart too, but it would have broken my heart in a kind of better way. It would have just made more sense in my opinion. All in all, I have to say, although it was part good, part bad, the negative part stuck with me more, because it was obviously more negative than positive. And although the positive part was really, really positive, the epilogue kind of dragged it down again, and so I kind of don't have the best opinion of this book, and have sadly to give it 2.5 stars. I hope I will like this book better if I ever reread it, but I was pretty disappointed with it, with the way it went and the parts it focused on, so I can only give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Nevertheless, that my review isn't that positive at all. If you want to see the other reviews of Julie's Butterfly and Elenas Butterfly, I will link them here and here for you. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, you can do that as well. Please remember to hit the little bell button so that you get notified when I upload a new video. Give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you enjoyed or not enjoyed it. And I hope I will see you soon with another video. Goodbye!